BRICS Plus nations are set to stage a joint naval exercise in South African waters in January. According to the South African National Defence Force, the exercise, titled Exercise Will for Peace 2026, will be led by China and run from the 9th to the 16th of January. The drills will take place under the theme Joint Action to Ensure Safety of Shipping and Maritime Economic Activities. Countries participating under the BRICS Plus grouping include Iran, Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, among others. So what does this exercise signal for South Africa? Joining me right now to unpack this is Ricardo Teixeira, defense analyst at the Institute of Race Relations. Thank you very much for joining us. And like I said in the intro there, this is part of, efforts to show commitment to cooperation in the maritime security industry.
In one way, yes. It is a little bit ironic, though, because as we speak right now, China is conducting Exercise Justice, which is a rehearsal of action against Taiwan if they were to pursue an invasion of Taiwan. And again, they've called this exercise Will for Peace, but Russia is currently engaged in an invasion of their neighbor. China is busy rehearsing a potential invasion of their neighbor, and Iran's president said that they are at war with the West. So it's a little bit ironic to say that this is will for peace. And again, when this being a BRICS exercise makes about as much sense as there being a G20 exercise. BRICS is a political alliance, not a military alliance. None of the countries involved here have any shared doctrine, any shared mandates, any shared equipment, or even a commonly spoken language. So it's a bit strange, and I think it's a bit alarming. I think when we look at South Africa's involvement here, we're the only democracy partaking here, and the president likes to say, South Africa stands up for democracy and human rights, but show me who your friends are and you show me who you really are.
Yeah, and I mean, there are concerns around Iran and Russia participating, in this particular exercise. And also in line with that is South Africa's non-alignment policy.
Yes, it is very clear that, we say we're not aligned, but this is very clearly showing some sort of allegiance. This is, you could call it a modern day axis. We've got countries that are openly engaged in hostilities towards Western countries. And I know South Africa likes to say that we're not aligned, but we are clearly showing some sort of allegiance here.
Yeah, and let's talk about the message of peace and stability, right, that will come out of this.
In my opinion, it's very hypocritical. As I've said, two of these countries, one is actively involved in a war against their neighbor. China's busy exercising a potential invasion of Taiwan, and Iran has destabilized its region and international shipping routes in its sponsor of terror groups and insurgent groups in the Middle East, particularly the Houthis, who are actively threatening global shipping. So to say that this is to secure global shipping and to practice maritime security is very, very hypocritical, in my opinion.
Can it also be said that there will be any benefits for South Africa in this particular exercise?
I think the Navy benefits anytime they get to go out to sea, but given the ever-increasing budget for the Defence Force and naval readiness being on the decline, the fact that we only really have one frigate we can contribute to this, which isn't really fully operational. It's seaworthy, it can go to sea, but it can't be sustained at sea for longer than 21 days and is relegated to constabulary duties close to the coast. It's not much of a benefit. Again, there's no shared doctrine, no shared mandate. So what exactly we're going to be learning from each other is very debatable. In my opinion, this is nothing more than a Potemkin exercise. It's just going to be a glorified naval parade.
So would you then argue against those who say this is, valuable experience at a minimal cost?
No, it's going to be very expensive, firstly. And again, the Navy budget is very small at the moment and ever increasing. What exactly we can gain from Russia, who has failed to fight in the Black Sea. I mean, Russia's Black Sea fleet has been relegated to a harbor, and they've lost quite a few of their ships, including 2 submarines, to a country that doesn't even have a navy. Iran is actively threatening international shipping. So what we can gain from them is a very big question that I would like to see the government try and answer, because in my opinion, there isn't much.
Yeah, so you'd also say that it's not focused on practical cooperation amongst these BRICS Plus countries, as some would say. It's not politics, it's just cooperation.
I think it's just politics, in my opinion. It's a little bit of political theatre, and even though the government will say that there is nothing political about this, it's just cooperation, it sends a very clear message, and it sends an alarming message. If the world goes towards a large-scale combat operations similar to what we saw in World War I and World War II, where war in Europe expands, China invades Taiwan, what side are we going to find ourselves on? Because right now, it looks very clear which side we're going to be on, and that's not the side of democracy and human rights.
Would it not also be South Africa's responsibility to promote safety and stability in the sea?
It is. It is very much our responsibility, but in that regard, we should then be exercising with navies that are much closer to home. The Kenyan Navy has been very open about wanting to exercise with South Africa. There's the upcoming IPSAMAR exercise in India, which is a joint exercise with India, Brazil, and South Africa. That makes a lot more sense. We need to be exercising with countries that we operate with in our naval domain. We don't operate alongside Iran, China, or Russia. We're not very close to them. We don't share any naval borders with them. The countries we share naval borders with are Australia, Indonesia, Malaysia, Brazil, Argentina, and Uruguay. But we don't seem to be wanting to exercise with those countries.
All right. Ricardo Teixeira is an analyst with the Institute of Race Relations. Thank you very much for your time.